So, Pasta Party Food has been graciously donated to us by Joey Games. For those who don't know, Joey Games is a brand new Australian publishing company, and it is owned by their lead designer, Phil Walker Harding. Yes, the same Phil Walker Harding who
Barron
brought
Park,
us
Sushi Go,
Barron Park, Sushi Go,
other games.
Archaeology is another really good one. Bunch of games out there. So at PlayCon, Phil actually had a stall there for Joey Games, and he had the 3 games there. So there's Pasta Party Food, Scribbly Gum, and I'm going to find out the third one in between someone else talking because I cannot remember the name of it. But essentially, they represent a trio of games. Busy Beaks, that's the other one. Yeah. Okay, so it was a trio of games. It was a Kickstarter that happened last year. I walked past the stall, and what intrigued me about these games is that they are reasonably lightweight, very family friendly. In fact, on the side of the box, on this one anyway, it says 7+. I know one of them says 6+. I think it's Busy Beaks is actually targeted at preschool.
I do believe
kindergarten age.
I believe he basically said that he wants the games to be able to play. He wants to be able to play games with his kids.
That's it. Yeah, that's really it. So all of these games are targeted at families, and they're all slightly different. So Pasta Party Food is a co-op. Busy Beaks is sort of like more competitive, and Scribbly Gum is competitive again, but it's actually
like a real-time one or something, isn't it?
No. It's very close to like a roll and
that's right. Yes.
Sort of thing. Yeah. It's just there is no rolling. That doesn't have a dice, but it is like you do write and such on there.
Cool.
So had a chat. I had a couple chats with Phil. Explained to him what we were doing and how our game day was targeted at families, and he loved it. He said it was a great idea. Asked me to send him an email. I did that. I'll be perfectly honest. I wasn't expecting to hear anything back. I mean, Phil's super busy. Like I was
just being nice on the day.
Hey,
look, just send me an email.
It was great, and I thought
smashing some lamingtons.
Yeah. and look, and I'm not saying this because I'm being dismissive of Phil or anything. Not at all. I'm forever grateful for him sending out these games to us. But it's just, I know he's busy.
So take that with a grain of salt with what you're about to hear what we think about the game. So knowing that he sent them to us free of charge. He didn't say we had to cover them. He didn't even say that you didn't have to be positive about it. No. But just know that we were giving it for free. So use that with what you will going
forward. And then he responded and he said, yeah, look, send me an address. I'll happily send you a couple of games. And and please show them off on the game day and let me know what people did and what people think. And I did. I told them that the games were popular, they were borrowed out, and I did get to teach both of them on the game day. But Pasta Party Food as a game, what it is like I said, it's a co-op game, and the goal of the game is we represent kids in the 1980s at a kid's birthday party. Hence the type of food that you see on the front of the box. We have our lamingtons, we have our fairy bread, our snakes, our jam biscuits, and I still don't know what these are called.
There's hundreds and thousands.
So you know what?
That's literally
hundreds.
That's what they're called.
The rule book of this game actually has a little blurb of everything.
It does. Yeah.
All right, you're going to need to go to our YouTube channel, youtube.com/@BGGateway. Have a look at this image that is showing on screen right now of this particular party food. Okay. And I would like you to write a comment down below to tell me what is the name of this party food. I think it's hundreds of thousands.
I'm gonna add just a disclaimer here. My background's Portuguese, so my kids' birthday parties didn't have this. We had cheeses and salamis and stuff. So
you know what, Damo?
Anyway,
I'm a wog too. But I still went to Aussie birthday parties, and it was all days and hot chips.
And hot chips, yeah.
Leave your comment down below of what you think it is. Let's get back on with it.
So, like I said, premise of the game is a co-op, and we're all trying to get to the end of a row which contains a birthday cake. So we have this track that we are trying to climb up, and the way we climb that track is by collecting either rows or columns, so essentially sets. So it's a set collection game of various pieces of food. How do we get that food? Quite simply, on our turn, we will be drawing one tile at a time, up to 3 tiles from the bag. And as we draw them, we have to pick. Do we want to pass it to our left, keep it, or pass it to our right?
Once you lock it in, you lock it in. You can't change your mind once the next one comes out.
And we hand out the tiles, and that's pretty much it. The other thing we are doing on our turn is we are dishing out tiles for Ziggy, who is the dog. Ziggy is the dog that we are trying to make sure we stay away from. If he catches even one of us, it is game over.
So Ziggy is like stealing food at the party.
Exactly right. Yeah. Yes. And so Ziggy also has his own board, and he too is moving up the board based on points. But the sets that he has, and Ralph, if you wouldn't mind holding up the board.
Yeah, sure thing.
They look a lot like ours, except instead it's 4 columns, and columns typically do score more points for the most part. He only needs 3 items to complete a column, whereas we need 4. In addition, Ziggy takes a turn on every player turn. So in a 4-player game like we had, he actually has 4 turns around. And that's pretty much it. So if he happens to complete a row or a column, he moves up that many spaces. If he catches anyone, it's game over. The other thing we have in this game to try and mitigate Ziggy's progress is we have take tokens. We all get 1 of each, and these are single use, and it allows us to take an item off of Ziggy's board. We also have swap tokens, which is what we can use to swap tokens at any time. These are free actions between each other. Yes. The game's super lightweight. It is absolutely family friendly. I have played this with my kids. We had a ball. I really like the game because now I'm going to say frankly, I don't like set collection games. I think for more hobby level board games, the heavier games, I find set collections to just be a bit of a lazy mechanic. But in a kids game, particularly a co-op one, thoroughly enjoyed it because it's a game that my kids can understand. They go, okay, so I need 5 tiles of different type. Great, go. Or I need 4 lamingtons. And you have them yelling at the table going, no, give me the lamington. Don't take it. Give me, because if I get it, then I can put it here and then I can move up that many spaces. The mechanics in this game made sense to them very, very quickly.
Yeah.
And they understood that they were trying to stay away from Ziggy. Fantastic. Look, like I said during our playthrough, and please go and watch our playthrough, Phil, in my opinion, is the master of making accessible games that have depth. I told him as much on the game day, and I thanked him because my youngest tends to only want to play his games. It's just how it's happened. Baron Park and Sushi Go are 2 of his favorite games.
My 7-year-old loves Baron Park.
So
he loves it.
Yeah. So look, I think the game's great. What do you guys think of the game?
Well, I agree with you. I actually found myself really enjoying this game. It is right. So the statistics on the bot, not statistics. The the information on the bot is 7+ 2 to 4 players at 30 minutes, and I found it was pretty smack bang on 30 minutes for us when we did our play.
Rare for games too.
Yeah, it was actually right. And this is a game that is designed for. Honestly, this is a game designed for around that 7 to 10 range. Not to say that we didn't have a lot of fun. Like obviously, as a hobbyist level gamer, like you're probably not going to pick this one off for your game night. But if you have younger kids and you've got people that you maybe even want to introduce to board gaming, this is a perfect introductory game to play because for 2 reasons. One, it's co-op, and as we all know, I'm not the biggest co-op person here in the game in the group. However, I really did enjoy the fact that at its core, as you said, we're running away from Ziggy. So we actually lost the game. We were very close. We were super close to winning this game, but Ziggy caught us just on the end. But we had a couple of moments where we were all discussing and going, well, we need to get Ralph and Lamington, so let's risk it a little bit because he's not going to get there yet, but we shouldn't use our swap tokens because we've got limited tokens. And we had this little interesting banter going where we are, four gentlemen, and I'm sitting here going, this is for 7+, and I'm going, God, I really want to beat Ziggy. I want to get to the cake, and I really dig it. I think I will admit when I first saw his games at PlayCon as well when we were there, I was very much like, oh, I can tell this is going to be probably right up our alley. And it didn't make me as a gamer go, oh, I want to get it for me. But as soon as I played it, I'm like, I want this for my daughter. She would love this. This is absolutely perfect to play as a family. This is what we've referred to lovingly before. I would say it's a tea game. You know, those games where you can get a cup of tea and you could put it out there and we could have a chat. Well, like
and a lamington.
And a lamington, absolutely right.
Yeah.
And if you go,
whatever that is.
Absolutely. If you go and watch our Let's Play, which is on our channel, so we'll have a Let's Play this video out as well. You can actually see us as we were playing. We were actually having a lot of moments where we were actually having a great chat. We were chatting, laughing, whilst playing the game at the same time. And that's not a detriment to the game. This is one of those games that sparked us talking about lamingtons and talking about party food.
Reminiscing about an Aussie birthday party.
Absolutely. And I really dug it for the, you know, for the vibe that he's going for in the game that he's got here. Yeah, there's a lot of replayability here because it's like, yes, it's the same thing over and over again, but at the same, like, the challenge comes from the randomness of pulling the tiles out, but at the same time, you're trying to mitigate that by going, should I swap now? Should I take now? And all that.
Yeah, when do we use it? Like, I personally, I typically play games more for the enjoyment of playing it with people. Mm-hmm. So I typically don't play games quite as heavy or games that you would sort of sit by yourself and do your own board. I found this was really good. Interaction level was quite high. It's like every single turn, I've got to look at Ralph's board, I've got to look at your board and mine, where's Ziggy at? And even though you're not involved in that particular turn, you're still like, oh, maybe we could use a swap. Or everyone was very involved and I really enjoyed that part of it. I think another good takeaway for it as well, just the build style for the game. 7 to 10-year-olds are going to be playing this. I know myself, I've got a 6-year-old. They tend to bend cards and break things and that sort of stuff. These are all very thick, very sturdy tiles, very easy. Everything is quite solid. Even the pieces are quite thick wooden pieces.
Yeah,
I'm not
no kid's going to choke on that, sure.
Keep it away, keep it cool.
I'm not worried that I'm going to have to buy 6 copies of this.
I will say, I totally agree with you when you say the player board and how, like, one of the problems that sometimes when you introduce a player board to people is that they can just look down and never look up. Whereas this one, you are forced to look up and go, okay, Ralph is only 2 spaces away from Ziggy. We've got to try and get him completed. What do you got? What have you got? And that was those moments of looking around the table, which I think you're absolutely 100% correct. It does it perfectly.
And I think knowing that, you know, majority of the people that are going to play this are going to play this with their kids and then using relatable things. Like, kids know what fairy bread is. Kids know what a snake's lolly is. And like the terms like the lucky dip and using the dog and little things like that, I think it's going to be very easy for them to understand. It's not too over the top. It's not too busy. It just gets to the point.
Yeah, I love that. Yeah. Ruff?
I have to be the critical one.
Oh.
Yeah.
I have to be the... No, I'm kidding.
It should have been blue on the board.
So there is a blue birthday candle, right?
That's true, that's true.
Look, I love the idea of a kid actually not just playing their tableau. They have to look at other players and see how can I help you. I think that's a really valuable thing for a kid to start learning empathy, like a little bit like, oh, how do you feel? Like you don't have any lamingtons, like, or whatever. But when I first saw this track, it has like all 4 pieces. It didn't feel like a co-op game when I initially saw it because it looks like, oh, okay, well, that just looks like the blue person won the game. You know, it looks like a race to the cake. But it was interesting to see how we can climb up. But I can see some kids getting a little bit confused, saying, "I got to the cake. How can I? What do you mean I don't win yet?" But I think it's really good. 7 plus is the right age because that's where you can teach them enough to learn how these 3 plates work.
Yep.
And things like that. I do have a real criticism though. There's no red snake. What is going on? They've got a green snake on a green background. I want a red snake.
I'm grateful. I'm grateful that there's no red licorice.
Yeah. Yes.
So, okay. So it gets bonus points for me just because there's no red licorice.
But I tell you, like they got the food spot on. I think it's a fantastic game. I really, really like it. It made me excited to see Fairy Bread again. And I reckon within the next week, I'm consuming at least one of these things in real life.
I will say one of the cool things that we always, like, we actually were focusing a lot of the time on looking at Ziggy's board, as we've said.
That was fun too.
Yeah. But the other mechanic, which is great about this, is that if you can clear the horizontal line rather than a vertical line, everything pushes up. And same thing with Ziggy. Yeah. So we had a few moments where we were literally like, Ralph needs to move now because if that line completes, it is immediately game over. And we were able to work the boards all correctly in a way of being able to move us.
I don't know if you guys have played many games of a game like Pandemic, where one card flip ruins the game.
Yeah.
Or like it could make the game over. I felt that level of
it's a good tension.
In this game, and it's something so simple of just 3 tiles and saying the third one ends the game. A kid's gonna recognize that and really get worried as to what comes out of that bag.
But unlike games like Pandemic, and this is like a major criticism because I know Pandemic doesn't take that long to play, but in games where there is that level of tension, you're not sitting at a table for an hour plus with a kid.
No, but think about this. For a kid, I'm saying this is the right level.
That's right. You can reload and go.
I don't know any kids game, like not even Sushi Go. Like I played a game of Sushi Go recently with a kid who's never played it before. He absolutely loved it.
Yeah.
He wanted to dive right back in. But there's no other kids game for me that has that tension.
Yeah, I agree.
You know?
Yeah, 100. Look, it's a big thumbs up from all of us here. Given that we actually played it before the podcast as well, just to kind of refresh our memories and make sure that, this was Damo's taught it and played with his kids. This was a fresh play for me.
Same. I thought it was fantastic.
Yeah. And
first time for me too.
And that's the thing. We learned on how to play this game in less than 5 minutes, but we can all see the depth and just how this is aimed at the demographic that it is aimed at, and I can definitely say that this is certainly worth it. I think the Joey games are also priced really, really well here in Australia.
Yeah,
as well.
I don't quote me on the price. Certainly go check the website, but I know their Kickstarter, they had all 3 games heavily discounted. With delivery.
Yeah, so I would go check it because I remember you saying as well. One of them was like we were looking at it going, "Oh my god, I can't believe they were."
What?
Yeah.
I'm going to say the price now because I'm very impressed. That's $13.
Yeah.
What can you do for 30 minutes that costs $13 for 4 kids?
Exactly. Yeah.
I can't make dinner for that much.
No, Coles don't even do the $10 dinners anymore. That's insane.
I know when I was...
You can't even buy all these things for $13.
I know when I was briefly...
cake.
Yeah. I know when I was briefly talking to Phil, like... There are little things that they've done on the game, both for environmental reasons, but also to try and keep the costs down. Like the game doesn't come in shrink; it just comes with sticky tabs on the side.
A lot of games do that nowadays.
But again, it's like they are being quite conscious,
environmentally friendly. They're also trying to keep the costs down.
That's right. Yeah, and these meeples, they're just
they're good.
They're just a little milled piece of wood.
That's
with
right.
I
mean, you could argue they're fairly.
But
generic,
you know what?
but
You said this is like an '80s birthday party. These are like '80s board game pieces.
They are basically.
So look, Joey Games has done a fantastic game, a fantastic thing here, in my opinion. Phil has another brilliant design here. Look, definitely go check it out. Check out Joey Games. If you get the opportunity to play this, play it. Otherwise, by all means, please go pick it up. $13.
Yeah, I highly recommend supporting them. He's doing a really good thing.
You should buy 2
here.
copies for $13 price.
Look,
keep one for yourself and gift it to someone else.
I will be picking up a copy.
Absolutely, like this is the perfect game to be putting on like a bookcase. It's a perfect game to at $13. This is actually such a good stuffing stocker. Like it won't fit in.
It needs a big stocking.
I need a big stocking because but like this is the perfect thing you could give to a kid for a birthday or
like Santa. You let yourself go.
No. Sticks out the top.
Yeah.
Anyway, so that was Pass the Party Food by Joey Games, and that is a big thumbs up from us here at the Board Game Gateway. So anyway, that's going to bring us towards the end of our podcast now.